and who should not be. I agree with the rabbi. If it's Father Abraham, we should all share the property and live together, unite as one big family.
Yeah. Dr. Sunshine, a recent CNN poll found that more than half of Americans believe that we will have a holy war, or that we will have more violence based on religion in upcoming years. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think people are very aware of these differences. They're aware of how violent our 21st century has been just a few years since it started. And they just don't see signs of hope. And I have to admit, it's very easy to get in that frame of mind. There's also, at the academic level, talk about this clash of civilizations, and that doesn't help things at all. It's almost as if we're doomed to have this happen. I don't think that kind of language is true, nor is it a good analysis, and it certainly isn't helpful. However, we have to deal with people the way we are. I think if we could produce some hopeful signs. Look at North Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Who thought that that would change as quickly as it did? And I was there last summer, and the people who were involved in it, the people who were fighting on both sides, they are hopeful. They think there's something to it. So I think we have to keep pushing for that and hoping that that becomes evident, and that, I think, will change the perspective people have.
Mm-hmm. Rabbi, do you feel that we are headed towards a self-fulfilling prophecy? If we talk about violence, we'll see more violence. And what can people of faith do to stop this momentum?
Well, I don't know about self-fulfilling prophecy. I think if you ignore the problem, you only allow it to fester and to grow. I think dialogues as we have here, dialogues we have in Miami the last 40, 50 years, is a way of people hearing each other's grievance and problems. And we can, as I said before about the Arab-Israel situation, as they put things on the table, we narrow the differences. I often like to tell very quickly about a man wakes up middle of the night in a forest, and he sees an apparition from far, and he gets frightened. Comes a little closer, looks like a wild beast. He's still frightened. Comes a little closer, he sees a human being, less frightened. Comes closer, he sees it's his brother. And I think as we get close to each other, we see we're really brothers and sisters. And the differences that separate us is so minute compared to all the things that unite us. We should stress the things unite us, not the things that divide us.
And Sheikh, what do you think about that?
Sometimes, I'm sorry to say this, but I would like to blame, if I have to blame someone, the religious leaders for not killing the ignorance in their congregation. And I mean, I have that living example, that I have a lot of people in the community who do think, negative to the rest of the world, and I make a lot of enemies with my own congregation. And sometimes if we would kill that ignorance in our own congregation, rather than let them make us preach hate, we need to educate them and let them know this does not exist. Because religious leaders get together, a lot of dialogues, politicians, religious leaders, it's nice, it's out there. You have interfaith programs in the White House. Everything exists politically, professionally. But when it comes to down in the hearts of people, you have that animosity. And if the religious leaders don't kill it in their congregations, as I said, you will have a few people in your congregation who will not like you. But we as leaders need to kill that.
Let me ask you, why is it not killed in the congregations? Do you think that violence is used as a way to sell religion?
I think that a lot of leaders, and I speak for my own self, I see it happen in the Muslim community, and I do see it happen with a lot of international preachers and TV preachers. They want to just be loved by their audience, loved by their congregation. Maybe we get more money, we get a better salary, but we need to let those people in the audience, not just let them hear what they want to hear, let them hear what they should hear. And then we will probably eradicate, and as the leaders have this love and understanding, we know our differences, we know our commonalities. We need the regular mass to have that ability, and then we may be able to solve the problems. Because if you look at countries like Palestine and Pakistan and other countries, and I speak of Muslim countries, it's the ignorant people who get into these battles. But behind the scene, it's the religious ones who condone it and give them the green light.
Dr. Sunshine, do you think the religious leaders don't do enough to talk about messages of peace?
I think that is true. Let me give just a concrete example, different from the political considerations we've been engaging in. Capital punishment. If you consider the Christian account, Jesus died as a result of a sentence of capital punishment. why Christians would support and even promote capital punishment seems to be a contradiction in the Christian teaching. And yet, Christian churches, the official teaching for a long, long time has been to do exactly that. However, recently, Pope John Paul II started the movement, has been to question capital punishment and to stop supporting it. So, yes, I think there's a possibility of change on specific items, and I think that's a very positive development.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rabbi, do you think that religious leaders do not do enough to heal the wounds of the past?
Well, obviously, the proof of the pudding, something like that, the proof of pudding is in the eating. That if we see all this hatred going on in the name of religion, obviously those that are responsible for teaching their religious followers are not doing enough. I think more programs of people coming together, not only on the level we are in today of religious leaders, but having congregations meet with each other. Very often you have Thanksgiving Day services where churches, synagogues, and mosques will get together. I think we need more of that. We need more of people inviting people of different faiths into their homes, of congregating. Mm-hmm. We are really one congregation, not just a Jewish, a Catholic, Protestant, a Muslim. We are really one congregation, means one people. We're all one people under God. We have to stress that to our followers.
Mm-hmm. Sheikh, I'll give you the last word on this.
I totally support what the rabbi said, that, not just in dialogues should religious leaders get together. We should have our congregations having that relationship, and we should use a lot of the holidays and the religious events to bring the congregations together. Maybe clergy leaders sharing platforms on certain issues so that they will be introduced to the different congregations, and we will get there.
Mm-hmm. We will get there. It's a long process, but we need more dialogue just like this. I want to thank you all for joining us, and please tune in again for another issue of Community Crossroads.
And during the service, he left. Every Saturday morning, this fellow's coming in. He didn't pray, just sat in the background and left. So once the rabbi grabbed him before he left, he said, "You're welcome to come to the synagogue. You leave whenever you want. But why do you come in and you don't pray and you leave?" He said, "We see, I'm a bus driver. I'm trying to see how you're so successful in getting people to sit in the back." I told my congregation, they're all sitting in the back, they all got up.
I tell people that a teacher without a voice is like a cowboy without a six-shooter.
Right.
You're helpless.
I thought you say without President Bush, without a six-shooter.
Well, I don't know.
Any cowboy.
Last night we had a Thanksgiving program at Temple Solar.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so nice.
That wasn't you?
From all the different faiths. But we need to use events.
All right, event. Right. Right. Right.
Is the general public do not really...
If I had my voice, it would be better. Then I could have added more. We actually ended before time, huh? Had an extra 10 seconds.
Well, that's okay, because they can always do credits, though. And they can hold.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So that's fine.
I thought usually going over is the problem.
I'm on Miami Beach. We have, whatever the name of it is.
I still think that you will do channel
35?
Yes.
So I'll look at they have a guide, television channels. I'll look for 35,
Yeah.
and they'll show me the equivalent.
And it should say I on ION.
ION.
All right,
as ION.